All right. Really proud of our players and our staff and just the way they responded last week. Starting off, with a difficult game the week before, and really the guys showed up, had a great attitude, and responded. So I think that's a really good sign of where this team is right now and where we're headed. I think that the goal every year is to get better week by week, and I feel like we're doing that. Whenever I look at our team, I see a continued improvement really in all three phases. And so really proud of that, especially during a difficult first start of the season. East Carolina is definitely going to be a huge challenge. Very talented East Carolina team. You really go back and study it. They had a 3-point loss at home to South Carolina. They had a 4-point loss to Central Florida, where Central Florida scored on the last drive of the game. And then, this past Saturday had a overtime loss to a 6-1 Houston team. So they're really about 3 plays away from being 6-1 themselves. And, whenever I go back and look at it, we did not play very well last year against East Carolina here at home. I really felt like they dominated the majority of the game there. So it's definitely going to be a good challenge for us here on Thursday. Offensively, I think they're very talented. Their quarterback, number 12, I think is one of the best quarterbacks in our league. And, he is just one of those guys that has the it factor. And he finds ways to make plays when plays maybe aren't there. And, I gained a lot of respect from him last year, and watching what he's doing on film this year is definitely pretty special. They have 2 very talented running backs that are having really good years. Defensively, they're a physical group. They love to bring pressure. They blitz about 80% of the time. And so it's definitely going to be a really big week for our offensive line, running back, tight ends, and being able to pass protect because their linebackers and safeties are coming pretty much every snap. Their defense held a very talented Houston offense last week to only 256 yards, and I think Houston only had 2 offensive touchdowns in regulation. They had 1 kickoff return and then 1 there in overtime. So I think they're very confident in the way that their defense is playing. For us, it's definitely a short week. Just had a staff meeting a minute ago and told our staff we're loading the buses in 48 hours and 30 minutes from right now is when we get on the buses to head to Greenville. So it's going to be a really, really quick turnaround. And I think the next 48 hours for us is going to be critical in our prep. We had a modified practice yesterday evening, and really tonight will be our one big physical practice. It's kind of a Tuesday, Wednesday practice combined in one. We'll have that tonight. And then tomorrow night is like our typical Thursday night practice where you're kind of polishing up your game plan and doing all the things you do in that last practice. And then that's it. We'll load the buses Wednesday a little bit after lunch and head up to Greenville and look forward to an opportunity to get to play on Thursday night, ESPN. It'll be a really great opportunity for our team and our program to hopefully showcase the progress that we've been making, and we'll find out here with the next big challenge Thursday night. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
So on a short week, you come up a home game, you got to travel, but they had the craziness of Saturday where they could finish after midnight and have to travel home. Or you kind of even a little bit?
Yeah. More even? Thursday night games are hard regardless whether you're playing home or away. It's just, as coaches and players, you're kind of used to having 6 days to prep. And when that gets forced down to about 3.5, it really challenges you. I think, for myself and my experience playing on Thursday night, the cleaner and tighter the game plan you have, the simpler the game plan, the better chance you have because if you go out and try to do too much, you're not able to practice everything, and the guys aren't able to execute it. So that's kind of my message to our staff as we're putting the game plan together is, hey, let's figure out exactly what we're going to do, and let's practice exactly that. And if in doubt, cut stuff out. And let's be simple. Let's know what we're doing, and let our guys go and play. And I believe they'll be playing with confidence coming off last week.
You've spoken about complementary football before, and I think there was an exclamation point through that on Saturday where turnovers turned into points.
Yeah.
And you saw that it happened, a couple times here and there, and so forth, but it really played a major role in Saturday night's game.
Yeah, that's key. And I think where we are right now as a team, we're not in a position. So some years you may have a team that the offense is just scoring 50 points a game, or the defense is just absolutely incredible and they're kind of helping out the offense. And kind of where we are, we're kind of getting better in all three phases, and probably very similar in a lot of those ways. So for us to have success, we have to be able to play well together and to have that complementary football. And so it's been great to see that. Again, going back to the Chris Carter play that he made, and then the defense holds them right there in a key 1st and goal at the 5 and gets the interception. And then the offense turns around and goes down and scores. Like, that's what you want to see from your team, and being able to respond and being able to really play that complementary ball. I believe we had the ball 44 minutes offensively. And that comes from a couple things. Number one, the defense getting off the field. And then number two, the offense being able to keep the ball and stay ahead of the chains. And I think that was Brian told me that was a school record by 4 minutes that we had with the ball for 44 minutes. And to be honest, it did not seem that way. In the moment when you're out there coaching and all that, it did not seem that way. And I think they only had 35 plays last week, where I think that's the school record. The fewest plays before that was 46. So, I think that was really, a good opportunity for us to show what we can do when we do play together, and the defense gets the ball back to the offense, and we're able to go out and execute.
Chris's play and then McKay's interception. Here you're lining up for 3 points. Next thing you know, it looks like you're going to allow 7, but then you get Chris, and then you get McKay, and the whole sideline becomes light.
Yeah, so it goes from a potential 10-point swing, right? Because you were going to score 3, and instead of scoring 3, they were going to score 7. So that was a chance for a 10-point swing. And then really what it turned into, it turned into a 14-point swing, because instead of them getting 7, we went and got 7, And so, again, those are huge. I think, and like I told the players after the game, and I think I said in the press conference Saturday night, that to me kind of set the tone for the day. And kind of like, we've been kind of waiting for that game, that moment, that time where it's kind of like you draw the line in the sand and like, hey, enough's enough. We got to get over the hump. Because it had been very easy after a very difficult loss against Tulsa, going out, working hard, and then the very first drive to go give up 7 points that way would have been really, really difficult, mentally for everybody to overcome and kind of go back into here we go again. And so that was kind of one of the first times that we kind of like stopped it and turned it around the other way. And I'm hopeful, and I believe that we'll look back at that little series of plays at the end of the year as kind of when we really were able to kind of get out of that hole and step up and start moving forward.
No matter what's happened all year, you've preached about, keep your blinders on, do your job, give max effort. Could you have had a better teaching tape of what happened on that Chris Carter play to accentuate all these things you've been talking about?
Yeah, I think the cool thing for me, and I told the players this, but like watching that play, it just like confirmed what I feel about this team, right? And I kind of I showed the play to the guys, on Sunday when we got back, and like, hey, we might have started behind this season, but like, we're coming, right? And we're going to catch up, and we're coming. And that's exactly what happened. And Chris, with the guys wear the GPS monitors on their shoulder pads, and he hit 21.12 miles per hour, which is the fastest that he's ever registered on a GPS. And then the other thing that's amazing is that's the second fastest of all. We had 25 GPS on our guys. That was the second fastest for the night for our team. TJ Robinson hit over 22. And Chris was the second fastest. That's counting all of our running backs, wide receivers, everybody else. And so, it's kind of like when he had to have it, I can just imagine what he was thinking on that 90 yards that he was running down. But to me, watching that was like what I feel about and what I know about this team, that at some point they're going to go do whatever it takes to kind of turn the tide. And I really think we're going to look back at that play and that game at the end of the season is when we really were able to kind of flip the script and start becoming who we are.
When you look at this East Carolina team, I was looking at their depth chart a little bit earlier. They've got a lot of oars on their depth chart. It's just when you look at the possibility of you're going to have to be facing a lot of guys, offensive, defensively, just how do you prepare for seeing that amount of depth?
Yeah, oars can be a good thing and a bad thing. Sometimes you can have oars because you're not sure who your guy is, but they have oars because they have a lot of depth, and that's a great observation. As I'm watching their defense, I mean they've they've got two deep that they feel really good about. And you'll see them. They'll sub the entire, we may make a sub on offense, and they may sub 11 for 11. And so, that's a place that I'm a little bit envious and looking forward to within our program, that we can continue to develop our depth, because we definitely defensively need to be able to develop our depth to be able to have some of that. But yeah, I think that's why they've been really successful in what they've done defensively, because they can play a lot of guys, and you got to give them and their coaching staff a lot of credit for developing and really believing in that number of guys. But yeah, there's no doubt about it, and especially when you're playing on a short week, you're going to kind of need your depth, and thankfully, I think our guys are feeling pretty good going into this Thursday night game.
Well, can you tell us more about Chris Carter? Just, a guy that,
Yeah.
you see here and there, just what kind of effort he gives you and what kind of guy he is. And
Yeah, he's the kind of guys that I like. He's a low maintenance, hard worker, blue collar kind of guy, and that's really who he is. And what you can expect from him every day in practice. You know what you can expect from him in games. He also had a really nice catch and a nice run. Kind of jumped over a guy and got a few extra yards there. But he's a guy that just works hard, and he's never worried. Sometimes there's games where those guys may not get opportunities, and he's never been a guy that's worried about that. He wants to help his team win, and those are the kind of guys. And we have a lot more of those guys in our locker room right now than we've had since I've been here, and that's what gives me a lot of encouragement for the chemistry and the culture that our guys are developing there in the locker room, that I think are really going to pay dividends for the second half of this season and for the next couple of years as we keep building.
You mentioned SMU, at the beginning of the month was a case study for y'all. ECU was a team that had a lot of success in the early part of the 2010s and in the late part of the 2000s. Is that another good case study for y'all here with what they're trying to do and what Mike Houston's trying to do over there?
Yeah, I think you look in our conference, right? There's a lot of teams that have it's kind of a cyclical league a little bit, right? You have your teams that are on top, and then they kind of readjust, and new teams emerge. So I think that's good. That's what you like, right? I think the one thing people may not like, and I was on the other side of that at Clemson for a long time, where you just kind of have the dominant teams that are just there every year. They're going to be right there. But one thing that I really like and appreciate about this league is there's opportunity for teams to be able to move up, and there's not like this glass ceiling that you can't break through. And so I think for us, ultimately, we're going to stay focused on us, and we're going to improve ourselves inside out. But for myself, absolutely coming in and kind of studying the league and studying the teams in the league, I definitely take note and learn from what some of the other coaches and programs have done, and it gives me a lot of optimism. Obviously, we're not proud of our record and all those things, but to see our guys improve week in and week out in the face of a lot of adversity in a time in college football, college athletics, where it's like the easiest time ever to quit and to give up and to go home or whatever. Like, our guys have done the exact opposite, and that's what really, really fires me up about the future and what we have ahead of us the second half of the season and beyond.
Coach, you mentioned on Saturday night that the locker room after the Tulsa loss was very professional. The guys were motivated to play better the next week. What was the mood among the team yesterday when you guys reconvened? And what was the difference? What did you see different among the players? Yeah,
obviously it's like a black cloud kind of moves off a little bit. Everybody can just kind of breathe a little bit. And I think for us, again, it wasn't this sense that like we finally won. Like we know we've been improving. We know that we're right there. But it was able to show on the scoreboard, and the clock was able to go 0, and we were able to have, be able to get the win. So it wasn't like we were going like from 0 to way up here. It was just like finally we were able to move past it. And what I was really proud of is I told the guys, like, hey, going in the week, our goal is not to go win a close game this week. Like, our goal is to go win. And like, if we play our best, like, we can win by 2 touchdowns. I told the guys that, and they believed that going into the game, and I think they played that way. So I think it wasn't anything abnormal, but yes, did everybody walk in a little bit taller and kind of I think in my mind, it motivates them even more, because now it's one thing as a coach to get up there and tell them they're improving and tell them that you're proud of how they're working and they're responding well. But at the end of the day, they got to see results too, right? They can't just keep hearing it and not get results. So for them just to see the hard work that they put in and the response that they made last week truly turn into a victory, I think it's going to just encourage them and motivate them even more to what is possible here moving forward.
How's Timmy McLean, and do you anticipate he's full go?
Yeah, Timmy is, we got several guys that are kind of in that situation. I expect Timmy to be able to do some things today at practice. Exactly how much he can do, I don't know yet. The good thing about having evening practices is the guys can get several, rehab, treatments in. My expectation is it's probably going to be decided sometime Thursday, just to kind of see how the ankle heals up. And but we do expect him to be able to move around and do some stuff at practice today, but I really won't know until we get closer to the end of the week. So probably a game time decision there at quarterback.
What about your other health? Anybody else?
Yeah, I think pretty much Andrew Kilfoyle, a backup offensive lineman, had a knee injury. We don't know exactly the full extent of it yet, but he'll be out this week. The other guys that kind of got banged up are still under evaluation, and again, kind of the next 48 hours will kind of tell the tale on how they're able to, get back.
Xavier?
Weaver? Yeah. We expect him to be able to go, but again, we got to kind of watch him practice. If we really had to have him Saturday night, we probably could have played him a little bit, but those hamstrings are just things that you can do all you want, but really the only thing that gets it better is rest. And so we kind of made the decision that unless we just, we're in a situation where we had to use him, we wanted to try to get through the game and not play him and rest him, and with the expectation that he would be able to be full go this week. So that's my expectation, but until he gets out there and runs around the next 2 days, I won't really know for sure.
Speaking of Xavier, you had Bryce back on the punt return
Yeah.
team, and if Xavier can't go, or
Yeah.
at least to the extent that he's on the punt return team, when we see Bryce again Thursday night?
Yeah. Bryce has done a good job as our backup returner, and I think that was a positive. Sometimes when you have to hold out, one of your starters, it gives other guys opportunities, and we're probably going to need those guys down the road. So that was a good opportunity for Bryce. I thought he did a solid job there when he was asked to, and was able to get in there on offense as well. So it was good to have him back being full speed.
Obviously, you have a lot of depth at running back, a lot of guys that can play, and a relentless running game the other night. Was that your identity?
Yeah, well, we would like that to be. I think our guys definitely, we have a lot of confidence in our running game. It was good to kind of get back to it after the last 2 weeks. We didn't quite have the success that we felt like we could have. But ultimately, each game you got to kind of look at your opponent and figure out your best game plan. And I think we felt like going into that one last week that we should be able to run the ball and have success and really kind of challenge that offensive line group to take it over, and they did. My goal going into it was to be able to rush for 200 yards and get the win, and they fully surpassed that for sure. But we want to continue to be able to run the ball, but also we want to continue developing the passing game. And East Carolina is a different defense than maybe last week, where you're not going to be able just to line up and just run the ball every play. The way that they blitz and they commit a lot of guys to the box, you're going to have to be balanced in your attack. You're going to have to be able to run it, and you're going to have to be able to throw it. And so that'll kind of be the next challenge for progression this week.
So it was a tight game at halftime, and Travis got thrown in there, still up in the air. Were you pleased with how he responded, and is he, if Timmy's not a go, is Travis?
Yeah, I think we're confident in the way that both Trey and Cade Fortin have practiced, and that's why it was a great opportunity whenever Timmy had the sprained ankle there before half. It was a great opportunity to let those guys go, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Temple went and scored, made it a one-score game right there before those guys even went out in the field. So the game was definitely, still being played right there. And for Trey to go in, I thought he executed, moved the ball, and did what he needed to do, made some nice throws. we were really close on one of the deep balls there. I thought that was good. And then I thought Cade came in the fourth quarter and was able to lead and drive us as well. So I think that the good situation for us is, if something were to happen this week or down the road with Timmy, I think we feel very confident in both Trey and Cade by the way that they've practiced and what we get to see out of them every day. And mentally, they've been preparing themselves to play. So we'll kind of find out how it goes this week. There's probably a lot of different options that could happen between now and Thursday, but ultimately it's going to be about kind of where Timmy is come Thursday night.
Back on Weaver real quick, I mean, I was taking a look at the previous few seasons, and through 6 games since he didn't play the other night, he's got the most receiving yards for USF receivers since 2018. I mean, just if you could speak on the testament to not only his development, but what Coach Bentley's done since he's gotten here in June to get that unit just to be more productive.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Xavier. I mean, he's a guy that's he's got a lot of ability. Does a lot of really good things. Again, some of the guys that I've had the opportunity and pleasure to coach in the past, he has some of the traits that those guys have, being able to track the ball very well. He's a very fluid guy. He runs really well, and then he can make the kind of contorted catches that I feel like the great receivers, only those guys can make, and kind of a lot of different body positions. You see him go up, and he's sideways, and he's going to fall 5 feet, and he falls to the ground and still holds onto the ball. Like, those are all qualities you look for in the guys. I think Coach Bentley's done a really good job with that group. There's a lot of new guys kind of moving around, and you see, again, Jimmy Horn, a young guy come up, making more plays and doing some things. So, that's a ever evolving group in there that's continuing to work hard and get better. But yeah, I'm pleased with what Zay's done so far, and I expect him to have a really good finish here the second half of the season.
With you being a wide receivers guy, at your roots, when you were picking that higher in over the offseason, are you a little bit more picky about that one over the others? Since that's just your background. You want to make sure.
I think it's natural as a head coach. Pretty much every head coach started as a position coach along the way somewhere, and so you have your background. But what I've also learned becoming a head coach is your time is split up in a lot of different directions. So, in practice, I don't really spend more time with the wideouts than I do any other position. I probably spend just a little bit more time watching the offense because of my background there. But, I think the important thing for me is I knew Coach Bentley. I've known him for 20 years, and I've watched him be very successful as a high school coach, as a college coach. I knew he kind of knew the passing game and what we were going to be doing here offensively, and he's a very detailed guy, has a good relationship with his players, and he's doing a really good job for us, and I know he'll continue to help that group improve.
We've got to mention the defense at least a little bit. They've been maligned, but they played a good game. So just your overall take on how they played.
Yeah, I think that's really a big part of the story. I know it's easy to kind of get caught up with the rushing and the offense, but we defensively, held Temple last week to 231 yards, which I believe is the lowest total yards that we've given up in 4 years. So that's a pretty strong feat. And then holding them to 48 rushing yards is also the lowest rushing yard total that we've given up in 4 yards. I'm really proud of our defensive line. We were a little short with Vaughn, was with his family at a funeral, and obviously with DG being hurt there 2 weeks ago, we were a little bit limited in our overall numbers for that defensive line. So those guys are having to play more snaps than maybe they're used to. But to me, going back and watching the film, I felt like the D-line really did a good job of attacking, getting penetration in the backfield, and really opening up some lanes for those linebackers to go make some plays. But yeah, really pleased with what I saw, and I think for us to take the next step, we got to improve in every area. But for us to be able to play that well against the run and just overall hold them to 35 total snaps, I think that's something that's going to give our defense more confidence as we move forward. And this week will be a extremely big challenge because East Carolina's very explosive, both throwing and rushing. So it'll be fun to see our guys go out there and compete. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
When I just started with players let's go ahead to Donovan Jennings. Good. Lead us to 421 rushing yards. Saturday. Questions for Don?
Hey, how you guys doing today? You good?
How did you know that the play Chris Carter made, obviously, tremendous play. Took him down at the 5-yard line. 4 plays later, we get the ball back, you go down to score. How did the sideline react to Chris's effort there? What was going on as that play?
Yeah, so I'm actually in on field goal at the time, and I don't know what happened, so I just turn around, everybody's running, and I see Chris Carter. He's kind of by me, and I just see him take off, and I'm like, okay, he might get him. Okay, he might get him, and he actually catches him. I'm like, yeah, sir. Like, he caught him, so it was happy. It was we were all energized and we were happy from that play. I'm pretty sure that gave our defense some juice as well because, it stopped them from scoring. So I think the whole team was just exciting. The whole team was so eager to go out and play anyway. So, this was just, extra juice added onto it. So, it was a heck of an effort, You got to applaud him for it.
The way the game evolved with the running game, was that your kind of game?
Yeah, that's my kind of game. As an offensive lineman, you always want to, get a good fit and, move some people off the ball. And I think, from our whole offensive line took, a good shot at it. I think we all, came into this game knowing we had to run the ball and knowing we had to dominate the line of scrimmage. So I think we all just took that and, ran with it. So, I'm glad with the way we played and, the way the guys, put on.
Is it the kind of thing you can continue to do, you think, to be your identity?
Yes, I think, we can continue to run the ball very well, with the veteran O-line we have and also, the great running backs we have. I think we can, break the record again, to be honest. I think we can do it, any game we play, I think we can, rush the ball for 400 yards.
Donovan, on that opening series, you didn't get the points, but did you feel that the offensive line might have its way most of the night? Did you feel something right then and there in that opening series?
Yeah, the first drive, you can definitely, tell that, your O-line and your team is, ready to play. We're driving the ball pretty well downfield, and, I just got the feeling like, yeah, this can be all night. We can do this every play, in and out. We can definitely make a statement with how we run the ball, and I think we did.
How does it feel to win? And Coach mentioned earlier that it's like a black cloud gets moved off your head. I mean, that kind of feeling for you? Yeah,
for sure. You definitely feel, the sense of, when we're going to bring out the storm, when that time is coming. And, since we won, the other day, the black cloud just left our head completely. And, you can definitely feel it. You can, you can feel like the tension and, the, animosity of just, breaking through. And, I think we did. And I think we did a great job as well, just staying, with the game plan and, staying the course. And, last week, the week before that, we didn't, versus Tulsa, we didn't finish as well as we could have. And I think this week we did a good job of finishing and, landing that the last knockout punch that we needed to, put these guys away.
So it's the same team, the same guys, but you have a win. So is this like a testament of what the mind does? Just winning, how you just change.
Right. Yeah.
Outlook, kind of? Yeah,
for sure. Winning definitely helps, but you try to keep the same mindset. Win or loss. With these guys, you always want to, play the best game. We always try to play our hardest and put our best foot forward. So I think definitely it's a mental thing for sure. But if we just continue to play like we can, I think the sky's the limit.
Brad Cecil after the game on Saturday, he called it big boy football.
Yeah.
You want to add to that?
Yeah, definitely some big boy football. Put it on our shoulders, and that's what we want as an O-line. We want it, to be put on us, and any game we go into thinking that we can run the ball like that. And I'm just happy that we finally get to see the fruits from our labor, and finally get to see some positivity. And it's awesome, to be honest.
Did that game, because you only had 8 offensive drives against Temple, did that feel like, the second half of that BYU game, I asked Brad this, but did it feel like the second half of the BYU game where you were slowing things down, trying to get, a chunk play here and a chunk play there to get drives?
Yeah, definitely every drive were definitely pretty long. They were pretty long drives, and just going down and up the field, it definitely felt like the second half, But like I said, my guys are, we're prepared for it. We're prepared for, long drives, short drives, anything. And I think, that's one thing that, we can continue to work on is, being able to sustain those long drives if we have to. And just being able to, come off the ball with the same speed and, same integrity as we did, the first play of the game.
That was Kelly's easily his best game of the year so far. How much did he need that? Because he's kind of, I wouldn't say he's gotten lost in the rotation, but he just, he just hasn't been as productive as years past. But how much did he need a game like that?
Right. Kelly having COVID, that definitely, set him back a little bit. But, I have 100% faith in all of our backs. And Kelly's a great back, He did outstanding job for us last year and this year as well. And, seeing him, do that is just, I bet it boosts his confidence as well because, he knows that's something he can do. But, he hasn't really put on the field yet. So, once he does it and actually perform that well, like how he knows he can, I think that's going to carry him, well on to the next games. And it's honestly just a great feeling seeing our running backs, have a great day. Because, they have a great day, we're all happy, we're all eager, same win. So, yeah, I'm happy to see him do very well.
People in all levels of sports always say, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Can you take that and apply it to your season? And, you've had some tough goes here in the beginning, but you have a win and a lot of things in front of you, so is what in front of you, can that really make a huge difference as how this season gets perceived? Yeah,
for sure. I definitely feel like it's not how you start, it's definitely how you finish. We might not have, the outcomes like we wanted to in the first couple games. But, that's the thing with this team. We're always going to come back to work with the same, energy, the same passion as we did the first week, no matter what happens. So I think that's definitely, the win, can definitely propel us into the future. And, if we continue to play like this, like we know we can, and, the sky's the limit, like I said, and, we don't think that any team in this conference, is better than us, and we still play like that, no matter who we go against. So I think if we just keep playing like that, we'll have a strong year.
Last time you guys went to Greenville, you had a very successful rushing day. Kronk went off. I think that was the Jaquez Evans game back then, Obviously a completely different team, but just, does it kind of give you encouragement going up there knowing that you ran the ball so well the last time you went to Greenville? Yeah,
for sure. ECU, they're always going to be a very good team. We did go up there and run the ball pretty well against them, so it makes me pretty optimistic to see what we can do this year. And every team, like I said, is just how we play ball and how we do our things. And definitely with O-line, like I said, it's always going to be how we play, what we do for us. And I think that's it. Just doing us.
Jaron, at this point, he's got 12 touchdowns this season, and he's 6 off the record, single-season rushing record for a USF football program. And we mentioned to him after the game on Saturday, and he said that it's not his record, it would be y'all's record, including the offensive line. Could you tell us that relationship with the running back room and how it came to fruition on the field on Saturday?
Yeah, we got great relationships with all those bats. We got full faith in every one of those bats, that they can get the job done. Jaron, he's a character, he's always going to make us laugh, make us smile, and, crack jokes and everything. So, they just bring a great energy to us. They always, after the plays, they always, come and say thank you.